So I've come to Sheffield Conservation Area this afternoon with the dogs. Still only 6 degrees, windy and cold, but I decided to come here. I haven't been here for a while. This is a conservation area north of Napanee, and this is on the Canadian Shield again. Barren, bedrock, landscape, lakes. Lots of interesting species here, especially if you come in the later spring and summer. A lot of them won't be here today, but we'll see what we can find. Gee, when the sun comes out, it's actually pretty nice. If you get in a sheltered place, it feels quite mild and pleasant. Certainly part of the attraction of coming to this site is also enjoying not only the animals and plants you can see, but just the general geology of the area. Lots of interesting geologic formations, features in the rocks that you can witness from volcanic days of old, folds and fills of quartz and other minerals. Here's an example of one of the boulders. I mean, there's lots of them around. This is a moderate sized one. Just looking at the textures, you've got feldspar and probably calcite crystals in here, embedded, formed over the igneous creation process. Here's some potato skin type lichen here, and rock tripe, different type of rock tripe. Here we are, just approaching Haley Lake, off to our west here. Zoe looking over the cliffside. You can hear Phoebe calling. So I'm back here on the shore of Haley Lake again, and there must be 100 or more tree swallows hanging out, just skimming above the water surface. I assume they're catching things like black flies or midge larvae, flies that are coming out of the water, midges that are emerging. You may be able to see them in the image, I'm not sure. So the last couple days have been so cold, these birds have to come to these types of places to get any food at all. There's no flies flying inland at 0 to 5 degrees centigrade. So luckily now though, it's starting to warm up, and tomorrow's supposed to be back up to 15. Now that I look more closely out here, could be a couple hundred birds flying out here. I'm just estimating because they're very difficult to count. Further up on the hill now, looking down towards Haley Lake. We're up on this area of exposed granite barrens. These areas, because of their shallow soil and relatively high heat in the summer, often are exposed to fires that break out during lightning storms or other events. And they tend to keep these areas fairly open. So I was trying to say before, but the wind was so powerful I didn't think you could hear me. These areas of scattered oak and juniper rock barrens, high here on the slopes of Haley Lake, are still one of the few remaining places in Ontario for the nesting prairie warbler. But they like this sort of cirral stage of vegetation where you have the low common junipers and red oak primarily here, other shrubs such as the amelanchier, serviceberries, blueberries, heath covering a lot of the area as well, lichen encrusted rocks. They like that mix of early stages, which can be maintained by fire, at least more so on the tops of these shallow soiled granitic rock outcrops, rock barrens. In areas where these areas have grown in, for example, I'm familiar with Bon Echo Provincial Park. The prairie warblers used to nest there in pretty good numbers back in the 80s, and apparently they're no longer there. And I think that's just because the vegetation has grown in to a later stage on top of the big Bon Echo rock there. Zoe, come here. Oh, the dogs want to swim in 6 degrees. The water's probably 2 degrees. Maybe a bit warmer. We're just crossing a beaver dam here, following the trail on the outward bound section. It's a beautiful place. So there we are, we're back at the parking lot basically now, and we've spent 2 hours and walked about 6 kilometers. As far as the birds, we got Canada geese, turkey vulture, yellow-bellied sapsucker, downy hairy, and northern flicker, eastern phoebe, raven, black-capped chickadee, tree swallow, barn swallow, American robin, field sparrow, dark-eyed junco, song sparrow, eastern towhee, red-winged blackbird, common grackle, pine warbler, and yellow rope warbler. So about 21 species. Now I walked the Blue Trail, which is their newer identified trail, and I guess it's about, well, according to my record here, I walked 5.7 kilometers, so, and over a couple hours. Just, I wasn't even steadily walking, I was stopping a lot for photographs and videos and checking plants and birding, so a mishmash of stuff. But it's really a pretty sight, and if you haven't been here, I'd encourage you to come and enjoy it. You got the rocks, the lakes, the animals and plants. There's a lot here to enjoy, and today I'm the only person here, so hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to join me on some other adventures in the natural world. Thank you.